Have you ever wondered what happens to those who vanish without a trace? In today's video, we'll delve into the mysterious case of 5 hikers who disappeared into the unknown, leaving behind a trail of questions. Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking truth of their disappearance and the remarkable events that led to their unexpected discovery years later. The Appalachian Trail, with its rugged terrain and breathtaking vistas, beckons adventurers from around the world. Among them was Geraldine Largay, a determined hiker known as Inchworm to her fellow trekkers. Her story is one of bravery, survival, and ultimately heartbreaking loss. Jerry embarked on her journey on April 23, 2013, accompanied by her friend, Jane Lee. Their plan was to hike the Appalachian Trail together, meeting Jerry's husband along the way for supplies and support. However, fate intervened when Jane was called away due to a family emergency on June 30th, leaving Jerry to continue her journey alone. From the outset, Jerry faced challenges. She struggled with a poor sense of direction, fear of the dark, and being alone. Despite these obstacles, she pressed on, determined to fulfill her dream of hiking the trail. On the night of July 21st, 22nd, Jerry found herself at the Poplar Ridge Lean-To in western Maine, where she crossed paths with fellow hiker Dottie Rust, who captured the last known picture of her. Little did Jerry know, this would be the beginning of a harrowing ordeal that would grip the hearts of many. The morning of July 22nd dawned like any other on the trail, but for Jerry, it marked the start of a nightmare. Venturing off the trail to relieve herself, she quickly became disoriented and lost. Panic set in as she realized she was alone, surrounded by the dense wilderness of Maine. With each passing moment, Jerry's fear intensified. She attempted to send text messages to her husband George, pleading for help, but poor cell service thwarted her efforts. Desperate and alone, she sought higher ground in hopes of finding a signal, but to no avail. As the hours turned into days, Jerry's situation grew increasingly dire. She wandered aimlessly through the dense forest, her panic mounting with each step. Her journal entries paint a haunting picture of her desperation as she grappled with the harsh reality of her predicament. On August 6, 2013, Jerry penned a heart-wrenching plea in her journal. "When you find my body, please call my husband George and my daughter Carrie. It will be the greatest kindness for them to know that I am dead and where you found me, no matter how many years from now." These words, written in the depths of despair, would echo through the wilderness long after Jerry was gone. Despite her efforts to survive, Jerry's journey came to a tragic end. On October 14, 2015, her remains were discovered inside her sleeping bag in a campsite she had meticulously maintained until the very end. The news sent shockwaves through the hiking community, reigniting a sense of sadness and disbelief at the loss of one of their own. The discovery of Jerry's journal shed light on the final days of her life, revealing the extent of her struggle and the depth of her despair. Her entries detailed her attempts to navigate the unforgiving terrain, her frantic messages to her husband, and her heartbreaking plea for closure. But even in death, Jerry's spirit lives on. Her story serves as a cautionary tale for hikers everywhere, reminding them of the inherent dangers of venturing into the wilderness unprepared. As Jerry's family and friends gathered to mourn her loss, they were comforted by the knowledge that she had touched the lives of countless people along her journey. Geraldine's story is a reminder of how tough life can be and how strong people can be, even when things are hard. She may be gone, but her memory will live on as a reminder to be careful when exploring the wild and to appreciate the beauty of nature while also respecting its dangers. Melissa McDevitt was a remarkable woman who had an insatiable love for the great outdoors. Despite battling a rare disorder that often left her fatigued and in pain, she refused to let it hinder her adventurous spirit. From a young age, Melissa found solace in the wilderness, escaping the harsh realities of bullying and discrimination she faced in school. Nature became her sanctuary, a place where she felt truly alive and free. As she grew older, Melissa's passion for exploration only intensified. Armed with her camera, she embarked on daring expeditions to some of the world's most remote and untouched landscapes. From the rugged mountains of the Rockies to the lush rainforests of South America, Melissa captured the raw beauty of the natural world with breathtaking precision. Her photographs told stories of wilderness and awe-inspiring vistas, captivating the imaginations of all who beheld them. In December, Melissa set her sights on Vancouver Island, eager to experience its rugged beauty firsthand. It was a crisp winter morning when she embarked on her solo hike, the air tinged with the promise of snow. Melissa had planned to return home for the holidays after her adventure, but fate had other plans in store. Hours turned into days, and Melissa failed to return from her hike as scheduled. Concerned, her family reached out to the authorities, sparking a massive search and rescue operation. Volunteers from across the island rallied together, combing through dense forests and treacherous terrain in search of their missing friend. Despite their best efforts, days stretched into weeks, and there was still no sign of Melissa. With each passing moment, the weight of uncertainty grew heavier, casting a shadow of despair over the island community. Yet they refused to give up hope, clinging to the belief that Melissa would be found alive and well. Months passed, and still Melissa remained elusive. Yet the search persisted, fueled by unwavering determination and a shared commitment to bringing her home. Then, almost a year after her disappearance, a breakthrough occurred. A hiker stumbled upon Melissa's cell phone buried beneath a pile of leaves, a small but significant clue in the search for answers. Hope was rekindled, and search teams redoubled their efforts, scouring every inch of the island with renewed vigor. Their tireless dedication paid off when, at long last, Melissa's remains were discovered hidden deep within the dense forest. It was a bittersweet moment, a mixture of relief and sorrow for those who had tirelessly searched for her. The news of Melissa's fate echoed across the island, leaving a mark on all who had known her. Her family and friends were devastated by the loss, yet comforted by the outpouring of support from the community. Strangers became allies, bound together by a common goal: to bring Melissa home. In the aftermath of her passing, Melissa's memory lived on in the hearts of those she had touched. She was remembered not only for her adventurous spirit and love of nature, but also for her courage in the face of her challenges. Her photographs served as proof of her passion for exploration, inspiring others to seek out the beauty of the world around them. On July 30th, 2016, Riley Zickel, a young man full of curiosity and a love for nature, embarked on an adventure into the Mount Jefferson wilderness. Riley, a college student studying at Lewis and Clark College, had always been drawn to the outdoors, finding solace and joy in the tranquility of the wilderness. On a warm July day, Riley set out on what was meant to be a short overnight hike, carrying only the essentials: a backpack filled with supplies, a map to guide his way, and a heart filled with excitement. His plan was simple: to explore the rugged beauty of the Mount Jefferson wilderness, to immerse himself in the sights and sounds of nature, and to experience the freedom that comes with being surrounded by towering trees and winding trails. As Riley ventured deeper into the wilderness, he marveled at the majesty of the landscape around him. Towering trees reached toward the sky, their branches swaying gently in the breeze. The air was alive with the chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves, and the scent of pine filled his nostrils, filling him with a sense of peace and wonder. But as the sun began to set and darkness descended upon the wilderness, Riley realized that he had lost his way. Panic gripped his heart as he struggled to find his bearings, his footsteps echoing through the silent forest as he desperately searched for a familiar landmark. Hours turned into days, and still there was no sign of Riley. His family grew increasingly worried, their hearts heavy with fear and uncertainty. They alerted the authorities, and soon a massive search and rescue operation was underway. Search teams scoured the wilderness, combing through dense forests and rugged terrain in search of any trace of Riley. Helicopters buzzed overhead, their searchlights piercing the darkness as they scanned the landscape below. Volunteers joined the effort, their determination unwavering as they braved the elements in the quest to find Riley and bring him home. But despite their best efforts, Riley's location remained a mystery. Days passed and still there was no sign of him. His family held on to hope, clinging to the belief that their beloved son would soon be found safe and sound. After many months, Riley's whereabouts remained unknown. His family refused to give up hope, their determination unwavering as they continued to search for any clues that might lead them to their son. Then, in August 2019, a group of climbers scaling the rugged slopes of Mount Jefferson made a startling discovery: a body partially buried in a glacier. The climbers immediately alerted the authorities, and soon it was confirmed that the body was Riley's. The news sent shockwaves through the community, and Riley's family and friends were overcome with grief. They had hoped and prayed for Riley's safe return, but now their worst fears had been realized. The recovery operation was difficult, with the steep and treacherous terrain posing challenges for the rescue teams. But eventually, Riley's body was brought out of the wilderness, and his family was finally able to lay him to rest. The cause of Riley's death remains unknown, but authorities believe that he likely succumbed to the harsh conditions of the wilderness. It was a tragic end to a young life, filled with promise and potential, and Riley's memory will forever live on in the hearts of those who knew and loved him. In the vast lands of northern Utah's high Uintas wilderness, a man from Melbourne named Eric Robinson embarked on a solo hiking expedition in the summer of 2011. Eric, a seasoned bushwalker with a passion for the great outdoors, had meticulously planned his adventure, setting out from Chipeta Lake Trailhead northwest of Vernal on July 28th. His goal was ambitious yet thrilling: to traverse over 60 miles along the challenging Highline Trail, with the ultimate destination of Mirror Lake beckoning him on August 7th. Eric's journey was not just about conquering the wilderness. It was proof of his love for exploration and his unyielding spirit of adventure. Armed with his hiking gear, a sense of determination, and an Australian flag sticker adorning his belongings, Eric ventured into the Uinta mountain range, ready to embrace the challenges and wonders that awaited him. However, as the days passed and Eric failed to reach his expected destination at Mirror Lake, concerns began to mount. On August 8th, a search operation was launched, mobilizing volunteers, search and rescue teams, and local authorities. The search area encompassed vast stretches of rugged terrain, characterized by steep cliffs, dense forests, and unpredictable weather conditions. Despite the exhaustive efforts of the search teams and the support of numerous assisting agencies, Eric remained elusive, leaving his loved ones and the searchers grappling with uncertainty and worry. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the search for Eric continued, but the vastness of the high Uintas wilderness posed formidable challenges. The rugged landscape, coupled with the harsh environmental conditions, tested the resilience and perseverance of the searchers. Yet amidst the daunting task of combing through miles of wilderness, hope persisted, fueled by the unwavering determination to bring Eric home. Years passed and Eric's disappearance remained an unsolved mystery, haunting the hearts of his family, friends, and the community. The passage of time did little to diminish the fervent desire to find answers, but as the years turned into 5, hope began to wane, overshadowed by the grim reality that Eric might never be found. Then, in the summer of 2016, a ray of hope pierced through the veil of uncertainty when a family from Colville stumbled upon a discovery that would reignite the search for Eric. While exploring near Alsop Lake, the family spotted a peculiar sight amidst the rugged terrain: a backpack partially buried beneath a boulder, accompanied by what appeared to be a tent and scattered belongings. The significance of their discovery was not lost on them, and they wasted no time in alerting the authorities. As news of the discovery spread, renewed efforts were launched to ascertain the identity of the backpack's owner and unravel the mystery that shrouded his disappearance. Upon closer examination, the backpack revealed clues that hinted at its owner's identity: a sealed bear-resistant can containing provisions, a trekking pole, and a hiking boot containing bone fragments. Among the belongings was a telltale sign, an Australian flag sticker, a poignant reminder of Eric's origins and his indomitable spirit. The discovery ignited a flurry of activity as investigators meticulously pieced together the puzzle surrounding Eric's disappearance. The location of the belongings, coupled with DNA evidence, led authorities to conclude that they finally found Eric after 5 years of searching. The revelation brought a bittersweet sense of closure to Eric's loved ones, offering them solace amidst the lingering pain of his absence. Yet even as the mystery of Eric's disappearance was seemingly solved, questions lingered about the circumstances that led to his tragic fate. How had Eric, an experienced bushwalker, met his end in the unforgiving wilderness of the high Uintas? Investigations revealed that Eric may have ventured into treacherous terrain near Alsop Pass, where steep cliffs and rugged terrain pose formidable obstacles to even the most seasoned hikers. The discovery prompted soul-searching reflections on the inherent risks of wilderness exploration and the profound bond between humans and nature. It was February 13, 1983, when Rudy Moder, a 27-year-old ski mountaineer from West Germany, set out on a solo trek into the wilderness. Rudy's journey began with a sense of excitement and anticipation. With his skis strapped to his backpack and a map of the park's trails in hand, he left the Zimmerman Lake trailhead on the west side of the park. His destination? Thunder Pass, a remote and challenging terrain known for its breathtaking vistas and treacherous conditions. As Rudy ventured deeper into the backcountry, he was enveloped by the serene beauty of the Rocky Mountains. The crisp mountain air filled his lungs, and the crunch of snow beneath his boots echoed through the silent wilderness. For Rudy, a seasoned mountaineer with a thirst for adventure, this was paradise. But paradise soon gave way to peril. 6 days passed, and Rudy failed to return from his planned 2 to 3 day excursion. Concerned for his safety, his roommate in Fort Collins, Colorado, raised the alarm, alerting authorities to Rudy's disappearance. The news sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community of outdoor enthusiasts and search and rescue teams. Ground crews, aerial searches, and an avalanche search dog were deployed to scour the park's northwestern perimeter in a desperate bid to find any sign of Rudy. Yet despite their best efforts, the vast expanse of the wilderness remained impenetrable, concealing Rudy's fate. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, hope began to fade. The once bustling search operation dwindled, leaving only the haunting silence of the mountains in its wake. Rudy's family, thousands of miles away in West Germany, clung to the hope that their beloved son and brother would soon return home. But the mountains held their secrets close, refusing to yield any clues to Rudy's whereabouts. For years, his disappearance remained a mystery, a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurked in the unforgiving wilderness. Then, in the summer of 2020, a glimmer of hope emerged from the depths of the mountains. The hikers stumbled upon desiccated human remains while traversing Skeleton Gulch, an area previously scoured during the initial search efforts nearly 4 decades prior. Could these be the long-lost remains of Rudy Moder? The discovery reignited interest in the cold case, prompting park rangers and FBI officials to return to Skeleton Gulch in search of answers. Amidst the rugged terrain and towering cliffs, they meticulously searched for any trace of evidence that could shed light on Rudy's disappearance. And their efforts were not in vain. Alongside the skeletal remains, they discovered ski equipment, apparel, and a few personal effects belonging to Rudy, providing poignant clues to his fate. Yet even in death, Rudy's story remains shrouded in uncertainty. Attempts to match the subject's teeth to Rudy's dental records yielded inconclusive results, leaving officials grappling with lingering doubts. Was it truly Rudy Motor who had met his end amidst the rugged beauty of the Rocky Mountains, or was there more to the story than met the eye? For Rudy's family, particularly his sister, Elfrida Motor Frey, the discovery brought a mix of relief and sorrow. After nearly 4 decades of uncertainty, the confirmation of Rudy's fate provided a measure of closure. Yet the journey towards finality was far from over. Elfrida, longing to lay her brother to rest in their hometown of Friedberg near Augsburg, faced bureaucratic hurdles as the case remained open for U.S. authorities. Despite her desire for a swift burial, the process of repatriating Rudy's remains to Germany awaited the completion of the FBI's investigation. And as the wheels of bureaucracy turned, Elfrida clung to hope that her brother would soon find peace in his final resting place. For Rudy, a passionate adventurer who had ventured into the wild in search of thrills and challenges, the journey home was a poignant reminder of a life cut short, but not forgotten. In the end, Rudy Motor's story transcended borders and time, an example of the power of memory and the quest for closure in the face of the unknown. As his remains traveled across continents, his spirit found solace in the embrace of loved ones, a fitting end to a tale of adventure, loss, and ultimately, resolution.